Hi and welcome to another Huddle Breakdown Extra Time. I'm your host Martin Murphy and joined as ever by James. Sadly, no Alan. Huge disappointment for all of us. Alan unable to join is not feeling his best today. So Alan, we wish you very well, my friend, and can't wait till you're back with us. A bit of the dirt Burrichter with this, don't you think? That's been like a back-to-back appearance. He's been gone for ages, brief appearance and off again. What would you reckon, James?
Yeah, late scratch. Felt something in his calf late in the warm up here. So
He'll
no,
still get
obviously,
paid though, won't he?
yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, no, obviously, hope Alan feels better. I'm sure
No,
he'll be back
100%.
next week. The other thing is, you can't stop conspiracy rumors starting. His mixed allegiances with Falkirk. It's a correlation causation. I don't know. Maybe we'll get into that a little bit more when we preview the Falkirk game.
It's interesting that you say that, James, because I was thinking, especially for our subscribers, that we could have an Alan cam for the game and just see his reaction as the game unfolded, see which team he really wanted to
Yeah.
win, So I think he's ducked out of that. But so maybe one for the future, Alan, you can consider that. But in all seriousness, we do miss you and we can't wait till you're back with us again. So an action-packed show, James. Quite a few things to go through. We're going to be talking Champions League draw now that we know who we're going to be facing. A 7,000-mile round trip over to Kazakhstan for the boys. We'll be looking at that. We'll also be looking at, as ever, the latest transfer rumours. I was almost going to say developments, but you know that I wouldn't be able to keep a straight face if I'd gone down that particular route. We'll then actually touch on somewhat that Alan was doing. So, James, be grateful if you can introduce that. Alan been doing some great work on the game against Aberdeen, going into the tactics and a little bit more depth and what we can maybe get out of that. And you can obviously refer people, and subscribers where we can find that on Substack. We'll be looking at the Bairns of Falkirk. We'll be previewing the cup tie for Friday night. And as ever, finishing with Poetry Corner, James. So I suppose, James, to get right into it, trip to Kazakhstan. The last one I thought was a bit hairy. Do you remember that? Was it
I
Astana?
remember
I
it.
think was. Oh yes.
Yeah, yeah. No, the first thing I always remember about those games, or that game, and then anytime you're that far east, is how early they start my time, because it's just for a weekday Champions League game when kickoffs at like 11 a.m. or noon. It's just a weird thing. So, but yeah, that was one of those wild games. I looked back. I think that was one of the near baton at center back.
It was near
Infamous
Baton,
games. Yeah, I mean, it's just.
yeah.
But
As ever,
ultimately,
as ever.
it was a brief squeaky bum time over there, but ultimately it was pretty comfortable in the end. But
Just in case people can't remember, Celtic won 5-0 in the home leg. So job done. Of course, it turned out that way, but it went 4-1 to Astana in the second half. They scored 3 goals rapid. We were coasting at half time. I think it was 1-1. I think Scott Sinclair scored. And when we went 4-1 down, I have to say my wee heart was going at a rate of knots. As it turned out, we scored 2 late goals. I think it was 8-4 in aggregate overall. So it all turned out absolutely fine. But it just goes to show in this first leg that will be coming up. It's a Wednesday we're playing, isn't it? It's Wednesday, and
Wednesday, Tuesday, yeah.
You're hoping to take a little bit of not a little bit, a significant lead ideally, because I don't know what's the travel or something. I don't know the flight times. Pretty significant, about 12 hours or something, 13 hours.
Well,
way out there.
I don't think it's quite that long, but I do for going out of presumably out of Glasgow Airport. But
we'll obviously be going with propeller though.
Of course, that's true. They have a few
keep
bucks.
A cost down.
Yeah. But no, I like to delude myself into pretending that I'm going to do something like this, and I always look. I never do it just because of logistics on life is happy wife, happy life, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I did look at what it would I would fly out of Dulles which is Washington D.C. They're one of
Hmm.
one of their 2 airports around D.C. And then it would go through Doha and then over to is it? I guess it's called Almaty. Almaty is that? And it was, I think it was 18 hours, something like that, 18 to 20 hours all in. So that's too much for me to, the turnaround time, like 4 days, forget about it. I'm not a young man anymore, Martin, in case you can't tell. So for me to try to pull that crap, it would be, and
As
probably imbibe a little bit while I'm there. That and I don't even know. Like, do they let Americans in? It wouldn't surprise me if they don't.
But by a couple of weeks' time, I'm not sure what the situation
Yeah,
will be for sure. But to that point, well, first of all, you clearly moisturise, so well done, you, James.
I
And
had to. I'm shiny.
and with the match, I think it'll be shown over here at about 5:45 kickoff on that Tuesday, and over there it'll be, I think, I guess about 9:45, so it'll be a late evening kickoff. So one would hope the heat's maybe died down a little bit, and what I think's also kind of important is that. The big game coming up, the Glasgow Derby at Snake Mountain, is coming up. So playing it on the Tuesday gives us that wee bit more recovery time, I would say, in terms of coming back for I think it's a Sunday kickoff, is it, over there? So,
Yep, Sunday,
yeah. So it gives you
31st.
that, yeah,
Well,
31st of
that and the other
August.
thing is it's Rangers will be in Belgium.
The Rangers,
The Rangers, sorry, playing Bruges. So
yeah.
it's not as if they have a cakewalk fixture. That's going to be probably a pretty
Is that
So
on the
I think
Thursday? Or Wednesday, is it? Or,
that'll be Wednesday. I'm
yeah, the
pretty sure that's
Wednesday, yeah.
Wednesday. Yeah. So on a relative basis, even with the travel, I mean, to me, it's probably kind of a coin flip. Just kind of like I know anything about this kind of stuff, but um, so yeah, it'd be different if they had like a full week off or something going into it. But
Yeah,
I think given it's a Tuesday and the game is until Sunday, then hopefully, and that they have what was likely to be an intense game
yeah,
on the Wednesday. So, but no, I think this is one of those games where, or I shouldn't say games, but opponents. It's so hard to do quality analysis on them because playing in a league like the Kazakhstan league. Um, I know Alan put something out on Twitter about Elo, and it's just there are limitations with any of these models, particularly with leagues that don't play a lot of other leagues in European fixtures. So you have for people who don't know, I mean, Elo models are basically, it's like six degrees of Kevin Bacon. It's like I don't know if you guys, anyone old like me, had that game. It's like you always, there's how many moves away from Kevin Bacon as an actor, because Kevin Bacon was in so many different movies dating back to Diner and stuff. So it's basically who you played and then who they've played and how they've done. And it's a model that was developed for chess players many decades ago. And the problem is when you don't have a lot of diversity in who you play, then the modeling there can not be great. So they rate pretty low on ELO type models. The other thing is that so I think that's a caveat. I mean, that I wouldn't put a lot of weight in an ELO score necessarily, particularly because they haven't had a lot of exposure in. So basically, their ELO is based off of Astana having some European games, and it's like a second, third derivative type of thing as far as and the quality of the Kazakhstani league, which is very kind of isolated in this. So, long story short, I wouldn't put that too much weight in those kind of variables. The other thing, they've been on an upswing. I mean, that's the
yeah,
last couple of seasons. Like they're not a powerhouse in modern times. I mean, that's been Astana in that league, and for them to have, I think they've won 2 or 3 in a row now. And it seems like some of the reporting I've read is that they've pushed not only at a country level, but particularly at Karat on youth development. And now they've got this wonder kid that's going to Chelsea. Down to Stan Sapaev.
We hope you enjoyed this free preview from all of us here at the Huddle Breakdown. We know you have options and we really appreciate you tuning in. To hear the rest of this episode and for much more Huddle Breakdown content, head on over to www.huddlebreakdown.com. We hope you consider subscribing. Thank you.